Welcome to the Bourbon Jerk. Thanks for the click. Alright, so a quick glance at the calendar tells me that we're just about halfway through 2025. So why don't we have a conversation about the best whiskeys of 2025 so far? When I do these types of lists, the criteria is pretty straightforward. It has to be a bottle that I was able to get. It has to be something that I have in my possession. So it could be a bottle that I picked up at a local shop, something I purchased online, maybe something that I was able to procure through a friend, or perhaps something that was obtained directly from the distillery. I think a few of these are going to be on a lot of people's lists this year, but I also think that there's going to be a few surprises. So let's get into it. Before I do us a favor. Make sure to click that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Consider joining the Bourbon Jerk Patreon. We just announced our first barrel picks. How exciting is that? All right, let's go. First on my list here is Barrel Foundation Double Barrel. This came out towards the beginning of the year, released on the heels of Barrel Foundation, which was Barrel's first non-barrel proof offering. So this is the double oak version of that release. It's 100 proof, carries a 5-year age statement, and sells for a budget-friendly $50. It's a blend of 8-year Kentucky bourbon, 5, 6, and 9-year Indiana bourbon, 8-year Tennessee bourbon, and 5 and 6-year Maryland bourbon. For me, the regular OG Foundation was an outstanding blend, and then Barrel essentially took that blend and put it in a new oak barrel. It adds quite a bit of depth and complexity. Some of the memorable notes that I get on this are like campfire type of vibes, toasted marshmallow, graham cracker, toffee, chocolate. I did a full review of this one back in January. I called it the first must-have bottle of 2025, and I'll stand by that. As far as the bourbons on this list go, I think this is going to be the one that's the easiest to find. Next up is the Bomberger's PFG, Precision Fine Grain. One of the more intriguing releases of the year. Bomberger's is an annual limited release for Michter's, and this is like a smaller variant of that. It's essentially double oaked in custom French fine grain oak barrels that are made from wood seasoned for 40 months that you can read all about on their website. This is non-age stated, comes in at 100.2 proof. It's a bit darker and thicker than regular Bomberger's. It's got spice, prominent dark cherry and maple notes, and drinks quite a bit higher than its proof point. Retail on this one is $139, which is a bit steep. However, I'm told it's going way higher on secondary. So I'm not sure just how attainable this bottle is at this point, but if you happen to see one at or near retail, I would most definitely recommend it. I'd guess that this is one that you're going to see or hear about on a lot of best of the year lists. Next I've got Evernorth Spirits Night Stalker 4. If you regularly follow the channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of Evernorth Spirits. We just did some picks over there. We filmed a video about it, which you can watch here. This, in my opinion, is the best blended bourbon that they've released to date. I've got the others in the series, and to me, it seems like each successive release has been better than the one before it. And this one is an absolute home run. This crazy looking green owl on the label tells you exactly what's in the blend. It's 8 and 11 year MGP married to 6 and 7 year Green River distillate. Comes in at 124.2 proof. This one really hits on the classic bourbon notes: vanilla, caramel, dark fruits, oak. To me, this actually tastes like something quite a bit older than it is. There's like a dusty note in there that kind of shines through for me. The finish is long and explosive. No fancy finishing barrels or double oaking here. Just a fantastically constructed blended bourbon. Retail on this bottle was $79. It was sold through the Bourbon Junkies Patreon group online, and I think some of these may have actually been available at local stores here in Michigan. Before we get to the rest of the list, about a month ago, the folks at Whiskey reached out and asked if we might be interested in working with them. I had heard of the brand. I know that there are some other channels out there that use their whiskey glasses, but I had never tried any of them myself. So they sent us over a few of these Ray Heavy Base Crystal Whiskey tasting glasses to try out. So at first glance, these don't look that different from your average Glencairn, but if you hold them side by side, you notice that they're quite a bit bulkier, beefier, more substantial. One of the gripes that I have about the standard Glencairn is that they're kind of delicate, and if you've ever dropped one, you know exactly what I mean. The Whiskey glass is heavier, and it feels like it's got a bit more quality to it. As far as the shape goes, It's got the tapered top like the Glen, which is important for nosing whiskey. The overall shape of the glass is maybe a bit more modern. For me, the biggest reason that I prefer it to a Glen is that it's got a much bulkier and heavier bottom to it, which makes it less awkward to hold than a Glencairn, especially if you've got fat fingers like me. Whiskey sells all kinds of cool glassware and barware. I'll put a link in the description below. A few of the items that I've been eyeballing include the coupe style glasses and the double-walled old-fashioned glasses. Go check them out if you want to level up your glassware game. Make sure to use code BourbonJerk15 at checkout. You'll save yourself an extra 15% off your order, and you'll be helping to support the channel. Now back to the video. Another year, another release of the Silver Grove Bourbon from New Riff. And just like last year, it's one of my absolute favorites again in 2025. New Riff is one of my favorite distilleries, and I'm really just amazed at what they can put out at 4 years old and less than $60. Last year's Silver Grove Bourbon came in at 116.2 proof, and this year's is actually a good bit lower at 110.3. When I noticed that, I was a little concerned that it might not measure up to the 2024 release. That concern washed away as soon as I took the first sip of this one. It feels similar to last year's release with the really bold notes. Baking spices, caramel, brown sugar, molasses, cola, and despite the lower proof point, it finishes really well. It does not taste youthful or crafty, and when I was sipping this, I was actually sipping it alongside the Michter's barrel strength release for 2025, and I definitely prefer the New Riff. These Silver Grove releases, and there's also a rye, are distillery only. They sell for just under $60. I don't believe they sell these out, at least not right away. So if you happen to be passing through Newport, Kentucky, stop in at the distillery. There's a pretty good chance you might be able to still snag one of these. Special thanks to Jeffrey Wack for picking this one up for me. Cheers, buddy. Don't call it a comeback. Well, maybe. At least for me. For the past couple of years, I've been a little down on Maker's Mark. They just seemed a little bit complacent and unexciting. Again, at least to me. Enter Star Hill Farm, the first completely new whiskey from Maker's Mark in, like, forever. It's not even a bourbon. It's a blend of two new mash bills. It's actually an American wheat whiskey. The two mash bills are, first one is 70% soft red winter wheat and 30% malted barley, and the other mash bill is 100% soft red winter wheat. It's aged for 7 to 8 years, comes in at 114.7 proof. Just put out a review on this one here. To me, this drinks like a killer bourbon. It's toffee and caramel forward, bit of cinnamon roll and baking spice notes on the nose, excellent mouthfeel, bold and packed with flavors, reminding me of like a melted candy bar. Huge finish. This is something that I think Maker's Mark absolutely needed. Something completely new and exciting that just delivers. This is just starting to see shelves in a lot of states. Hopefully you can find one at MSRP, which is $99. This one, I doubt you're going to be able to find it at MSRP at this point. But if you do, more power to you. I'm talking about the Jack Daniel's 14 year, and this was definitely the most anticipated release of the year for me. I'm a big fan of the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, the bourbon and the rye. Fan of the 12 year. Last year they put out a double barrel rye that was fantastic. A fan of the triple mash bonded release from a few years ago. I could go on. Moral of the story here is I love what Jack Daniel's has been doing the last few years. To me, this lives up to the billing. It gives you the big, bold flavor and high proof that the single barrel proof provides, but it's rounded out and balanced by the age that it's soaked up from being in these barrels for 14 years. Imagine if the Jack Daniel's 12 year was kicked up by another 20 proof. Doesn't that sound incredible? That's kind of where this one ends up for me. This will undoubtedly be on most end of the year best of lists, probably at the top of a lot of them. I think it's pretty much on the same order as Russell's Reserve 15 year was last year. This last one is a little bit of a dark horse, a bit more obscure. I'm talking about the Walleye Run Rye Cigar Batch from New Holland. Again, if you watch my channel, you know that this brand is a favorite of mine. So it's got the 7-year malted rye backbone, then finished in Armagnac, sherry, and Amberana casks. If that sounds wild, it really is. The Walleye Run is a very fruity whiskey to me. Think cherry, strawberry, and peach, and then it pulls the flavors from the finishing barrels. I think the sherry comes through first, kind of announcing its presence with authority. Then a little bit of that Armagnac shows up. The Amburana shows up late, just kind of knocks on the door and let you know that it was stopping by the park. I found this on the shelf at a local shop. I believe it was 80 or 90 bucks. Proof is not overpowering. Comes in at a respectable 105. Definitely one of the more interesting flavor profiles that I've come across this year, and just really well done. So these are my top whiskeys so far this year. Obviously, I don't know what I'll be able to get my hands on between now and the rest of the year, so we'll see how this list might evolve between now and the end of December. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these whiskeys on the list. Did they make the cut for your best whiskey of the year so far? And what releases should I be hunting for the rest of the year? Till next time, cheers. Thanks for watching. Stay jerky.